What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brandon. This is Extreme Daily Drivers. Thanks so much for stopping by the garage. If you watched last week's video, you know that we replaced the alternator on the old Jeep Commander, and what a great way to follow that video up with a big 7 upgrade from jeepcables.com. Check it out. This is what we're installing today. This is going to be a huge upgrade to our electrical system on the old Jeep Commander. This is specifically made for the 4.7, but if you guys have a WK with a 4.7 or like a Durango or like a Dodge 1500, I think they're all the same. I think the installation is going to be all the same. So let me go ahead and crack this bag open, get these cables laid out, and let's figure out where the heck they all go. So here's the kit all laid out on the floor. We have basically 7 wires to replace on the Jeep and install these in their place. And what's awesome about these wires is that they are labeled really well. To give you an example, this obviously is going to go to the starter, and the other end, which I have covered under this nice boot, it says it's going to the fuse blocks. So everything is labeled super nice. We also are getting a little fuse block, some fuses. We are getting new battery terminals, which, by the way, they're labeled. They're hard to see, but right there it says N, and then on this one it says P. It's important because they're different sizes. So let's go ahead, get underneath the hood, and start installing this thing. So the first step whenever you're doing anything electrical like this is going to be to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery, and in this case we're going to disconnect the positive as well. Get the battery pulled out of here because we're going to need massive access to the area around the battery. So that's the first step, probably the easiest step. This shouldn't be too hard. I took a look at the kit, and the only thing that concerns me is the one going to the starter. If you guys know anything about these vehicles, the starter is kind of hard to get to, but we'll cross that path when we get to it. If you guys are fans of the channel, you know on my XB, I did the Big 3 upgrade, which I thought was really beneficial. So with the battery moved now, we got our negative and we got our positive, and you can see this little red here? Like, this is basically what we are going to be replacing, these skinny little wires that are 20 years old, I might add, with those big beefy ones that come in the Jeep Cables kit. So I'm going to actually cut away all of this tubing here, and just to expose the wiring, and it'll just help me kind of have a better understanding of where everything's going and what we're doing. You can see right here, this is a real easy one, right? This is going to be the ground from the chassis to the battery terminal. That one's super easy. Another easy one would be here, alternator to the positive wire. So I'm just gonna start stripping all this away, reveal what's underneath, and that'll give me a really good map on how everything's gonna get replaced. All right, so your boy's been busy here the last 20 minutes. Let me show you what I got accomplished. Battery's gone. The battery tray is gone. There it is. It's just a couple bolts holds it down, and I thought it would give me a better kind of idea of what we're working with here. So right here we got the negative terminal. I stripped away the covering leading to the chassis right here, short little cable, and then we have another one that is going along here and goes down to the engine block. You can't see it because I can barely see it. It's going to be super hard to get to. We'll talk about that in a second. I also pulled off the red wiring here that you can see. This red wire right here is going to the starter. This red wire here is going to what they call the fuse distribution block, FDC or PDC or something like that. So we got one red here, and then we have another red from here coming around going here. Those are going to get replaced. I pulled off the cabling going to the alternator, right? So this cable is going to get replaced. And then the only thing that leaves is a cable going to the starter. And in order for us to get to that engine block ground, in order for us to get to the starter, you're going to have to pull your splash guards. Mine look a lot different than yours because mine have been highly modified. But let me pull this thing out, and hopefully we can get to where we need to get, because that chassis ground is super scary. I don't know how we're going to get to it. So I know you guys are wondering to yourselves, why in the world are we doing all this, right? What was wrong with the Jeep to begin with? There's nothing wrong with the Jeep to begin with. Now here's what you got to know. No matter what car you buy, the electrical system, the grounding, all that kind of stuff, it's the absolute bare minimum. They do the least that they can do to make the car go down the road because it saves them money. These cables that we are installing and essentially replacing the OEM stuff with are a million times better than what came from the factory. And if you have a modified vehicle like we do here with off-road lights, radios, CBs, stereos, I mean, you name it, the factory system is not ideal, right? So if we can boost it, if we can make it better, it's just going to improve the length of our, how long our battery lasts, how long our alternator lasts, how well the car performs, and how well all that electrical stuff that we installed performs. Wasn't easy, but we got it done. Let me show you how I did it. So right here, everything is pretty much straightforward, easy to get to. The alternator wires, the wires leading to your fuse boxes here, those are easy to get to. The hard part is the engine ground, which is down here and to the engine. And I thought it was going to be essentially welded on, seeing it's been on there for 20 years. I went to put my 15mm on it, and I barely gave it a crank and the thing came loose. So I'm glad that we are doing this because, dude, that was too loose. There's no way that was tight enough. And speaking of too loose, let's take you over here. You had to peel, I have to pull the wheel off to get to the starter. And starter is back in there. I don't have a light handy to show you, but you can get to the bolts. And when I put my 13mm on the starter power bolt, it was loose. Like, it should have been way tighter, man. So that got that bolt got removed, pulled out the power wire as well as the yellow wire. If you guys know anything about the Jeep Commander, the yellow wire is an important guy. And let me show you what happened with the yellow wire. So we aren't replacing the yellow wire. We need it. And here it is. This is the thing that everyone always tells you to jiggle, right? When your car doesn't start. So here's the end that goes to the starter. And then that goes to a clip along with your clip for your alternator. And this clip resides right here. So unclip that. We're gonna reclip that when we start installing everything here in a second. And we should be good, man. We should be in good shape. All right, so now comes the fun part. We're actually going to install the kit. And I'm just essentially going to follow the directions that are printed on the ends of each one of these cables. I'm gonna put it all together, and we'll go through it together after it's all kind of put back together. But this should be pretty straightforward, and I'm actually kind of excited to how this is gonna turn out.
2 hours later.
All right, guys, it's been a day. It's been a day. But check it out. We made it happen. We made it happen. And this wasn't super easy. If you're gonna do this, you might want to pack a lunch because it's gonna be a full day. Trust me. And there may be some stuff in here that you have to add yourself. That's what I did anyway. I don't know if it's 100% necessary, but I feel better knowing it's on here. So let's just start from the alternator. So we got our new wire from the alternator. It goes from here to the fuse, all right? And then this guy goes from the fuse down to the starter. And we have a wire from the starter coming up to the battery. Then we have a wire going from the battery to our PCM. Is that what it's called? I think so. Then from the PCM, we have a wire going to the other one, okay? Or PFC, I forget what the things are called. These are fuse boxes. They're wired together, okay? Had to get creative with this little guy here to make this all kind of fit. I rewrapped the alternator wire here with a loom that I had laying around. Look how much better that looks. Yeah, so now let's go over to the negative side. We have chassis ground going to the battery, and then we have engine block ground going to the battery. So this guy goes down underneath into the block. I wanted to point out how I had to modify the fuse boxes so that they close properly over the cables. And I'll open this one up for you here. You can see where I hacked that up with a Dremel to make it all work. And on this one, basically the same thing. I actually had to cut off a plastic tab to make that work. You can also see how I modified the bracket so this works with the two kind of ground points with those 10 millimeters, and then the third one that I added by just drilling a hole through that bracket. Also, let me show you real quick how it looks at the starter. You got the two cables coming in. I know it's really hard to see, but the two big red cables and also the yellow cable is down in there. So anyway, I think that's it. Car started up, idles perfectly, no issues. It's kind of funny because the car is reacting exactly how it did prior to 7-hour installation that I just did. So what did we improve, right? Now, I wouldn't put all this work in if I didn't think this did something. All right, this does something. You can tell by the stuff that it replaced. I mean, check out, what is this, 2-gauge wire? Oh, the alternator's hot. Check out 2-gauge wire compared to the old alternator wire, right? I mean, which one would you rather have? A 14, 16-gauge wire that's 20 years old and has been sitting in a super hot engine bay for 20 years, or something that looks as nice as this? I should mention too, this little fuse mount I made. So there was a cover that was over the engine. It said 4.7 on or something like that. But when I installed the intake, that guy had to go. And it left behind some 10 millimeter screw holes, you know, and I just made a little bracket out of some of this over here. I always have aluminum laying around. So anyway, I just measured, chopped this down and put a hole in it, mounted it, and then screwed down the fuse mount onto that little platform. I thought it was a really good location. It kind of keeps wires easy to access, looks good. It's not in anybody's way, it's not in anything's, you know, I just think it's a good spot. I didn't know where else to put it, to be honest with you. So I think that's gonna wrap it up, guys. This is one of those videos where I forget what I filmed and what I didn't film, so hopefully I can put this all together so it's a cohesive walkthrough, and I hope I don't scare you from trying this yourself. If I can do this, you can do it. There'll be a link down in the description for everything that I use in today's video. I hope it's helpful, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.